everyone, and welcome to episode 29 of the Social Liability Podcast. The podcast where two middle-aged men sit around and complain about the people that violate the social contracts that we all agree to live by. Oh, Bucky, we've had some doozies of stories this week, which we're going to get to, but let's first, as we always start, how's your week been?
Very uneventful. I actually almost missed I almost missed today. I thought it was Saturday.
So what you're saying is, instead of what I did get you for Christmas, I should have got you a calendar.
It wouldn't have helped. I got one on my fucking phone and I don't look at it. I've been in a funk. I mean, cabin fever's getting to me a little bit because, COVID and everything like that. And I've only left my house 11 times this year. So, I mentioned
the Christmas present.
I don't even go outside.
I mentioned the Christmas present. You did receive your present, correct?
I did.
You did. And what did you think of it?
Well, my initial reaction was I was very perplexed. I was actually a little kerfluffled. Would be a good word for it, because I was like, this is ranch dressing. So, I'll go ahead and blow the lid off the secret here, folks. Raz got me a bottle of Hidden Valley buttermilk ranch dressing.
With a gift receipt.
And I'll tell you, I can't fault the guy because he did not skimp on quality. I mean, Hidden Valley is a Cadillac of salad dressings, and I do commend you for it. But initially I was like, Raz knows that the sight of mayonnaise just gets me going. Why would he do this to me? I was like, this is almost cruel. And I looked at Catherine and I was like, you like ranch dressing though, right? And she was like, well, yeah, I love it. I was like, great. You can have it. So,
well,
I will have it as a constant reminder of Raz in my pantry.
Well,
and I have the gift receipt on my refrigerator.
So Sadar and I sat down and we decided we had to get everybody in the Mount Moon crew and some of our contributors Christmas presents, but we also decided that we're cheap bastards. So we decided this year for Christmas to give the gift of condiment. So I'll be honest, we figured out that we could send stupid shit with gift receipts on Amazon. So we literally sat and giggled ourselves silly for probably 2 hours. We sent you ranch dressing. We sent Blue Duck Gold Duck mayonnaise. We sent the contributor that we always speak of about just our constable friend. He got mustard.
Colonel Mustard.
Another individual got a thing of ketchup. I mean, everyone got condiments. And I don't know why. It's so incredibly stupid, but we laughed ourselves silly for hours. Literally the next day, I was just in there going, ranch. Because what did the receipt say?
It said that Amazon ran out of mustard.
It said ranch, because Amazon ran out of mustard.
Yes. And I was that was also very confusing. So I gotta ask now: are you and Sadar gonna start your own organization now? Are you gonna? Because that was seriously some gloomy Christmas, now that I know what the method was to your madness. I mean, everybody has to practice Save Christmas. Why not send a condiment? Why not? But so are you and Sadar gonna start a group and call it Christmisis?
I don't know.
The Christmas terrorists.
But I do see a Christmas tradition starting. But I digress.
You know what? I will say that Catherine does use ranch dressing. So
fair enough.
It really isn't an unwelcome happenstance. It was just a very confusing. I was just like, huh. I know I'm the ass of a joke somehow. I just don't know when or what. Like we got a decade and a half of like douchebaggery. So I mean, like like this ranch dressing could be from anywhere. But no, it was just you and Sadar just sitting around being, you know, Christmas kooks, and that's fine.
Middle-aged and goofy. But that is not why people are here. They want to hear about the fucked up stories that we run across on the internet. And most of these are sent by you this week, except for one. But so let's start out. Where should we start out? I know. Let's start out in the great state of Florida.
Florida man, does whatever the fuck he can. Makes headlines every time. Florida's paradigm. Look out! Here comes Florida man.
Indeed, here comes Florida man, because Florida man dies when window of home he was breaking into closes on him. Okay. A Florida man was killed during an attempted burglary in Lee County, according to local officials. Jonathan Hernandez died after the window he attempted to enter closed and broke his neck, approximately 5.5 feet off the ground. The incident, according to the news press, took place on Saturday, and a photo provided shows Hernandez's body hanging from the window. Oh, jeez. So
wow.
A Lee County Sheriff's Office has begun an investigation. Well, no shit they have. Hernandez, also known as Jonathan Hernandez Zulaga, has a lengthy rap sheet including marijuana possession, grand theft, and probation violations. In addition to his less than violent crimes, Hernandez was also involved in the 2014 murder case, though the details have not been released. So, what do you do when you come home and you see dude hanging by his neck from your window, dead? Well, you do what anybody would do. You pull out your phone and you take a picture.
Just hope to Christ that your kids are behind you. That's all I gotta say.
I mean, you come home and go, honey, what's that on the window? Well, dear, I do believe that's a dead Mexican. Jeez.
Well, you know, it's like you just look at your wife and you're like, all right, sweetie, elf on a shelf, I get, but what the fuck is this?
What the fuck is this? Oh, that elf on a shelf is some creepy shit, dude. That's some creepy. Do your kids do that? Or did they do that?
No. Thank God. My ex and I, like, yeah, we laugh at other people, like, you know, doing shit and, like, putting their pictures on Facebook. My ex and I were like, no, we would terrorize our children. And it was a wise move because, you know, somebody, I don't know if it was my sister or grandmother, but somebody was irresponsible enough to let them both watch, like, Annabelle.
I have no idea what the hell Annabelle is. Thank God. When my oldest son was born, we got rid of cable. We got rid of cable. Not because we thought we were being like this ultra like modern parent, but because we were poor. So cable's a luxury item, folks, and that went out the window. So we never saw a reason to get it back, though. So my kids never saw like the commercials for the latest greatest new toy, but they also never saw the little fucking stupid shows. And we got out of like the whole Dora the Explorer shit and Caillou and all that nonsense. We didn't have to deal with all that because it wasn't there.
But yeah, my kids were terrorized with dolls, so we were not gonna do, because Annabelle is like a killer doll movie.
Oh, okay, like a Chucky type thing. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, kind of, but like a little bit more like thriller and less like gory horror.
Fair enough.
Yeah, either way, it really fucked up my kids, and there's no way I was gonna have like Elf on a Shelf sitting there like a really dark part of me is like, yeah, that would be really fucked up and funny, but another part of me is like, you did bring them into this world, like that would be a really
yeah,
somebody else's kids, I might roll the dice and let them deal with that emotional trauma, but I'm not going to subject my own to it. Thank you.
Yeah, the whole idea of the little big brother thing sitting there staring at you, I was like, eh. Then again, we do tell people, yeah, he's making his list, checking it twice, gonna find out who's naughty and nice. The whole time he's watching you. I'm like, oh God, when's he not watching?
So, Dad, are you telling me that somebody who is a stranger is going to be coming into our house through the chimney while we're sleeping, and you're okay with it? Yeah, that's real double standard stuff. But I mean, like, yeah, magic explains everything. Just blame it on the magic. You know what? Nobody asked David Copperfield how he made the Statue of Liberty disappear.
A lot of people asked David Copperfield how he made the Statue of Liberty disappear.
Yeah, but you know what? All of them got nothing. All they could do was just ooh and ah and go on with their day. That was it.
Hey, Buck.
Doesn't matter.
Hey, Buck.
What's up?
The crowd that was on TV with David Copperfield, they were all in on it, and he was standing on a turntable, and when he put the curtain up, it turned, and then the curtain came down, and you were looking just to the right of the Statue of Liberty.
Just the worst day of my life. Like, seriously, man. I use that line to sell cars, and you just, like, completely... Man, and they say that screen doors aren't necessary on a submarine. I beg to differ. Come ride the SS Cripple with me, Buck Rundle, the only submarine with a fucking screen door named Raz.
I was an amateur magician. What can I say? Actually, I performed in front of 1,000 people.
Yeah, but you're a professional dick. What the shit is it? Like, fuck, man. Like, I really never knew how that worked. Like,
hey,
completely, like,
I can ruin any magic show for you ever. Okay.
Dude, magic show. I don't fucking care about a magic show, man. That's my whole childhood. Is like, you fucker.
But back to the story at hand, okay? Now that we've ruined your childhood.
Yeah, after you destroy my dreams. No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
So, I mean, seriously, how do you even live with that? Do you like not use that window anymore? Or do you put a little plaque on the window after you see a dead guy hanging from it? Especially when it was involved in a freaking murder case, and this guy was trying to get into your house, and just the house decided to extract, righteous justice and protect you. The house protected them.
I would laminate a photograph of the article, not a photograph, but I would laminate the news article, hang it below the window, with a sign right above it that says "Break in at your own risk."
Break glass in case of emergency. So, yeah, it's just like righteous justice by the house itself, which is just funny to me. But that's not the only story we have from Florida this week. It's not.
Oh, wait. Get your finger ready.
Oh, God. Go ahead.
Sounds like that whole heist was more of a pain than it was worth.
You mean a pain in the neck?
No, more of a pain than it was worth. Or a pain in the neck. Whatever. Just hit the fucking button and move on.
If you're gonna make a bad joke, at least put some effort into it. God damn.
I know. Seriously, we can't even script bad humor. It's just all organic.
Okay. A Florida man was also arrested, along with 3 others, last Saturday by a Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation officer for allegedly picking hallucinogenic mushrooms in the Little Big Econ State Wildlife Management Area in Seminole County, Florida, while also carrying a 2-foot alligator in his backpack. I almost got through that. 30-year-old Rick Myers of Titusville, Florida.
Almost my ass.
Hey, my dyslexic ass got through that minefield of a sentence. So, and it's quite the sentence.
Yeah,
really.
about as well as my fucking crippled ass could walk through a real minefield.
At least you got enough. There's enough metal under your ass. You'll probably be fine. So, back to what the story in hand. 30-year-old Rick Myers of Titusville, Florida, was charged with possession of an American alligator without a permit, possessing the psychedelic mushrooms that are often referred to as shrooms or magic mushrooms, felony violation of probation, and removing natural resources from a wildlife management area. Can we just pause and point out that there is a charge of possession of an American alligator without a permit? That's on the books.
I had no idea. I just want to see how your dickhead ass blows the lid off of that kind of magic show, though.
I could.
Don't.
You want me just? I can get my I can get my box out.
No,
I can show you that. We can do the cups and balls right now. We. I can swallow a sword right here on the program if you'd like.
Only if somebody has to clean you up with a fucking sponge, you dick.
Rick Myers, another Brevard County man, 22, of Gregory Santo of... Okay, I'm starting this over. That's just bad. This is horrible writing. Let me see if I can figure out a way to do this here. Well, another man named Gregory Santo of Titusville was also arrested, along with Tyler Salzman, age 20, of Delton, Florida. Both of the young men, 20 and 22, were charged with possession of the psychedelic mushrooms and removing natural resources from a wildlife management area. An unidentified juvenile was also among those arrested. The four men fled the scene but were later arrested by Seminole County Sheriff's deputies. A spokesman, Joy Hill, said in an email that Myers allegedly told authorities he found the alligator in the field where they were picking the mushrooms and picked it up and put it in his backpack to take photos of it later. The adults were booked into Seminole County Jail and the juvenile was taken to the Seminole County Juvenile Detention Center. The mushrooms were placed into evidence at the Seminole County Sheriff's Office and the alligator was released back into the wild. Yeah, they went into evidence all right. Yeah.
That'll be a magic show.
Yeah, they just disappeared. The fact that they had
no idea.
The fact they felt the need to tell the reporter, "Oh yeah, the mushrooms. We put those into evidence."
Yeah, with Officer Penn and Sheriff Teller. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I have an autographed picture on my wall of Penn and Teller.
That kind of makes up for ruining the David Copperfield thing because I like Penn and Teller even better. So thank you.
Well, I didn't say you could have it.
Doesn't matter. Yeah, but see, I'll write off your cred. I'm used to doing that because I'm handicapped. Everything. Like, you ride a motorcycle, I'll wear a motorcycle jacket because my buddy Raz rides a motorcycle. If you're going to bitch about it, I'm in a wheelchair. Go fuck yourself.
Fair enough. I think.
So, you know what? I like Penn and Teller. My buddy Raz has an autographed picture of him. Well, that's your buddy Raz. Yeah, but he's my buddy, so I can ride off his cred. That's goes along with parking. It's like whatever credentials you have, I can be like, yeah, my buddy Raz does this. Well, that's cool. Yeah, I got a buddy who does that. So I don't work anymore, but I got a buddy who does.
Oh God. So, have you ever just saw an animal and think, I'm going to take a picture of this? Yes, we all have. But have you ever saw an animal and said, I don't have a camera right now or the time, so I'm going to shove it in a backpack and take pictures of it later?
I did a lot of dumb shit when I was a kid. And I'm only bringing this up because they had an unidentified juvenile with them. I did a lot of dumb shit when I was a kid, but I would have never, ever, in a million lifetimes, I could go back and repeat every day of my childhood 1,000 times, and not one of them would I have followed a man carrying an alligator in a bag anywhere to do anything. Even when I was doing magic mushrooms, back when I was, reckless and, little, just a hair dumber than what I am right now, but just dumb enough. Even when I was doing magic mushrooms, I wouldn't have followed a guy with an alligator in a bag.
It's only a 2-foot alligator.
It wouldn't have mattered. Guy with an alligator in a bag, like, what if he's got another bag? What the fuck does he have in that? It's like, man, nope. Like, what? Like, this whole thing just screams social liability.
Indeed it does. Now, we've already covered the great state of Florida. Kinda. That doesn't actually say where this takes place, but I'm kind of assuming it's Cape Canaveral, because Space Force soldier demoted after skipping training in order to get a PS5. Yeah. Space Force soldier. So, I kind of wish they'd have named them Space Marines. But a soldier in the United States always... Okay. Oh, yeah, there it is. Okay. Sorry, I was starting to read this. I'm like, they just screw up the first line, but they didn't. I just misread it. A soldier in the United States, always controversial Space Force, was demoted for ditching drill in order to acquire a PS5. Remember the United States Space Force? That is the Trump-backed space branch of the United States Armed Forces that attracted ridicule and parody when it was established in December of last year. Well, it's making headlines again. These damn reporters need to realize they don't write the funny. We tell the funny. But whatever, I'll keep going. This time it's because a member of the force turned up 30 minutes late to a fitness lesson after he was apparently out scouring nearby Target stores in search of a PlayStation 5 console. Apparently, the airman first class was contacted by his superiors and told to get to class, which he simply replied, YOLO, PS5, greater sign, letters of discipline.
He should have said that he was doing research because he heard that the system was going to be out of the world. It's like Space Force.
That was the button. The thing is,
imagine by the solemn grimace upon your face.
If the dipshit had just ignored the text and came up with some kind of excuse, you probably would have got just a letter of discipline. However, you were late to work and insinuated to your supervisor that buying a PlayStation was more important to you than the disciplinary consequences of your actions, states a letter, which was posted to the Air Force Alphabet Soup Facebook page on Tuesday. Your actions are an extreme deviation from the professionalism expected of a member of the armed forces. I like how they continue just to say the armed forces as opposed to the Space Force.
Yeah, they can't even admit it themselves. Like nobody can write that down with self-respect, even on letterhead. It's like, no.
As per the task and purpose, through a spokesperson for Space Delta 8 could not outright confirm the authenticity of the document, it is noted that the formatting and style of the document does match official papers. Whether or not the Space Force member was successful in acquiring the PS5 remains to be seen, but the current stock situation across the US, UK, and Europe looking bleak, he probably wasn't. It also goes on to say that he was promptly demoted from senior airman thanks to his transgressions.
So, I gotta ask you, man. You spent some time in military service, and let me ask you, if you were to look at any one of your NCOs or officers or anything above ranking you and say, YOLO PS5 as an excuse for you showing up late to some shit, do you like? Why would you like? What the hell is going on to where somebody would even think that would fly? Like,
I'm thinking
I'm
thinking he may have had an alligator in his backpack.
Yeah.
That is not even in the realm of possibility of something that might fly.
Right.
NCOs do not have a sense of humor. No.
Right. Of all the possible excuses that could be floating around, whether they be realistic or not even close to realistic, why would you pluck that as your potential response out of like, I'm just going to grab that one? No. Like,
Indeed. And my question is always going to remain, why didn't you try to get an Xbox Series X? Just asking. Okay, so we have another story. Um, it sounds like a Florida story, but it's not. This is actually out of Hamden, Connecticut, where police have arrested a woman after 26 cats, 6 dogs, 2 squirrels, and a blind owl were found in her home. And it's unfortunate that you can't see what I'm seeing, because the eyes on this woman, oh my lord, they are... what's the word I'm looking for here? Because there might not be any words for this woman's eyes, but there's also a subtitle to the story. Because when you read it, it says, police arrest woman after 26 cats, 6 dogs, 2 squirrels, and a blind owl found in the home. And then in like a slightly lighter text in smaller font, it says, there were 2 rats too.
I'm like, if I weren't so excited about this one, I'd ask you if I could read it. You know what? Actually, no. Would you mind if I read?
No,
this
you
one?
go. You go right ahead, Buck.
All right, man. Like, I gotta cover one of my eyes here. All right.
Well, don't cover the mic.
I'm trying. I don't normally do this. Give me a second, okay? All right. Hamden, Connecticut. A Connecticut woman has been arrested after authorities found 3 dead animals in her home and seized more than 24 cats, along with dogs, squirrels, and an owl, police said Wednesday. Hamden police said that Donna Scaracho.
There you go.
Yeah, that'll work. Donna Scaracho turned herself in Tuesday because of an arrest warrant charging her with 6 counts of animal cruelty. She posted a $5,000 bond and was ordered to appear in court on February 5th.
Now let me just point out we're not actually laughing about the animal cruelty, but it's the headlines. It's the headlines and the way it's written. Just want to throw that out there so we're not getting any nasty letters.
No, I wish you could see this photograph of this woman. Like this mug shot would be like, I could see this being turned into like a really good meme.
It might be her picture. Might be the thumbnail on the YouTube channel.
We could probably, yeah. But anyhow, so animal control officials executed a search warrant at Scaracho's home on October 26th after neighbors complained about a stench and rats running around the neighborhood. Police Captain Ronald Smith said. Police said they found 26 cats, 6 dogs, 2 caged squirrels, and a blind...
And a partridge in a pear tree.
a blind owl. I can't even say that without... Hold on, wait. And a...
Do you need me to continue?
No. Just give me... That's a motherfucking blind owl.
How'd they know it was blind?
Just, like, of all the things that you affix an adjective to, like, there weren't mangy dogs, there weren't even fucking stray or feral cats, but damn it, the blindness, the ocular deficiency of this owl is material information to this article and must be revealed. So anyhow, a blind owl. Ooh. There were all...
All right, sit down there, Buck.
Yeah, you're gonna have
There were also 2 large rats in the home, officials said. Authorities also said that 2 dead cats and a dead woodchuck were also found. Health officials have condemned the property. Hamden officials allege the animals were neglected and cruelly treated. All the animals were taken to veterinary hospitals for evaluation. A few of them had to be euthanized, and the remainder are being kept at animal shelters. It was not immediately clear whether the woman, 59, has a lawyer who could respond to the allegations. Telephone listings for her are no longer in service.
How much would that woodchuck rats?
Apparently not enough, because it's dead.
Fucking dead. That woodchuck no fucking wood. Not a single splinter, man. That woodchuck was robbed.
How does one acquire a woodchuck?
Yeah.
How do you get a woodchuck? I don't know. I mean, you go down and just like try to grab it by the butt? I mean, it's the teeth.
It would have taken me 6 days to type this article. I can't even think about it without laughing. Dead fucking woodchuck. Of all this shit, like, you go to work every day going, I think that today I've seen everything. But man, when you slide it down the tail of your dinosaur that day, you're like, dead fucking woodchuck. You can't even pull the tail on that fucking bird to clock out, man. You're like a dead. Got your head in your hands. You're like a blind.
There's a blind owl and a dead woodchuck.
Like your commute home would be like the most morose thing ever. Like oh my gosh, like Sarah McLachlan in the background, and like a blind owl. And you're like having a beer at the pub. You're like, man, let me tell you what, barkeep. The bitch had a dead fucking woodchuck, man. Like, what kind of inhumans? Like,
don't even let me get started on the blind owl.
Oh man.
Oh, yeah.
But see, like, it's such a travesty, but it's so obtuse. It's like it's like that movie Airheads, and Adam Sandler's like putting his list of demands up for like ransom or whatever, and he's like, yeah, football helmet filled with cottage cheese, naked picture of B. Arthur, and you got this lady, she's like, yeah, I got 2 dead rats, fucking blind owl, dead woodchuck. You're like, what in the shit
and 26 cats, 6 dogs, and 2 squirrels.
Like, the only thing you can summarize from this whole cornucopia of fucked up is that the cheese has just slipped right entirely off of this woman's cracker.
See,
and the fucking mugshot proves it all.
In order to actually read the remainder of the article that you couldn't get through, I had to make sure that her picture had done scrolled off the screen, because
that's where I failed.
when I was listening to the background noise when I first called you tonight, I heard Star Trek: The Next Generation playing, and the only thing I could think of after looking at this picture and hearing the smooth tones of Captain Jean-Luc Picard, I could just think of Chancellor Gowron because of the crazy eyes that motherfucker had. Because these are haunting. These are fucking haunting. I think maybe the owl was blind because this bitch gouged its eyes out and shoved them into her own head.
Oh man, I don't know. Maybe that owl did it to itself, kind of like that dude.
Ooh,
ripped out his maybe the owl was just like, fuck it.
I can't look at this bitch anymore.
Nope. There's just no more sense in it.
Well,
I'd rather just go through life without seeing shit.
You thought that story was a little fucked up. I think we're moving on to our main event of the evening. And our main event, it has to do with legal action. And I've seen some fucked up things go to court. I really have. In real life, I've seen real things fucked up things go to court. But I'll tell you, one of my favorite, perverse, things I love to do every day that most people don't is I watch the People's Court. I love Judge Marilyn Milian. That's one of the biggest things I am upset about living on this side of the country now. Is it used to be New York was a couple hours away, and I found out that on Wednesdays is when they film the People's Court, and I wanted to go. I just couldn't find anybody to go with me. I'm still a little bit disappointed about that because I really wanted to go see a filming. But fucked up court cases kind of interest me. I enjoy them. But then stuff like this pops up. And you realize how much our legal system is just borked beyond belief at this point. Because headlines read, son wins lawsuit after mom throws away his best porno mags. And I was going to cue up a song, but I did not want to get us hit with a copyright strike. So let's just get straight into the story. Out of Ottawa County, Michigan, a Grand Haven couple will have to pay for disposing of their son's pornography collection. The only question is, how much? David Wereking, 42, sued his parents. Now, let me back that up. This dude is 42 years old. Keep that in mind. David Wereking, 42, sued his parents, Beth and Paul Wereking, after they tossed out what a judge called, quote, a trove of pornography and an array of sex toys, end quote. U.S. District Judge Paul Maloney in Kalamazoo granted the son's request for summary judgment in his favor. The parties have until mid-February to file written submissions on damages. The parents' attorney, Anne Marie Vanderbroek, said she is working to establish the value of the items that were disposed, but declined to comment about the case. David Wereking contends damages are around $25,000.
Damn.
That's a lot of porn. That's a lot of porn. You know how much I've paid for porn in my life?
0?
Probably less than 100, because I did have some DVDs when the internet really wasn't like a big thing yet.
No, man. It was all scrambled porn on the Spice Channel for me when I was a kid.
Ooh, I think I saw a nipple. I think I saw a nipple. Woo!
No, dude, I had a freaking towel in my room that you could have used as a lampstand.
Well, his attorney, Miles Greengard, contends that his client should retrieve treble damages, which is allowed under his claim for the conversion of property. Now we get to go into legal speak, and this kind of gets my dick hard, but most people might not find this as entertaining, so I'm going to go through it quickly.
Well, might as well, since you're talking about a porno article. You might as well get your dick hard, too.
We have asked the court for treble damages, which we believe are warranted given the wanton destruction of the property. He was pleased with the judge's ruling. The case wasn't just about a guy and his dirty magazines. This is a collection of often irreplaceable items and property. His client had moved into his parents' home in late 2016 after a divorce. Well, after his divorce, he needed to stroke material, apparently. After he left for Muncie, Indiana, he expected them to deliver his belongings. He later realized that a dozen boxes of pornographic films and magazines were missing. He later realized a dozen boxes of pornographic films and magazines were missing. Do I need to say that a third time? This motherfucker had a dozen boxes of porn. A dozen. Really, how much porn does one need? I mean, seriously, 2 or 3 good scenes and you're good for months, right?
Like I said, man, scrambled porn, Spice Channel, early 90s. That was me, man. That was me. That was it.
Well, we also had the Playboy channel.
You know what? I got through, man. I got through.
As
a matter of fact, they probably would have had to invent the Whack-A-Patch things.
Have you? Let me ask you this, because I have a feeling you were often like most young kids, and found yourself playing in the woods on a regular basis. Did you ever find forest porn?
No.
No forest porn?
No, if it wasn't Scrambled on Spice Channel. I don't even know what kind of porn there was. Like you said, there's a nipple.
Done. Nipple. Done. His father said in an email, frankly, David, I did you a favor getting rid of this stuff. The judge earlier rejected the parents' request to dismiss the case. Getting to the heart of the coconut now, the legal issue before the court is whether Paul and Beth converted David's pornography to their own use, Maloney wrote earlier. He found that they did. Yes. So, again, we're getting into legal stuff here. In his latest ruling, he said as early as 1874, Michigan courts had recognized that this conversion to one's own use was broad and could include destruction due to the converter's belief in deleterious effects. The Michigan Supreme Court confirmed this conclusion in 2015. In this case, there is no question the destroyed property was David's property. The defendants repeatedly admitted that they destroyed the property, and they do not dispute that they destroyed the property. Therefore, the courts find that this is no genuine dispute of material facts on David's statutory conversion claim. I love that. So he gets 3 times the value. He gets treble damages. But how much are 12 boxes of porn worth? $25,000. I mean, those glass dildos are quite a bit of money. How many of those did he have?
The thing is that 12 like how big were the boxes?
I don't think they were shoe boxes.
Well, of course not. But I mean, like, are we talking like if we went to a U-Haul store, are we talking like 12 small boxes, medium boxes, large boxes? I mean, like, I could see 12 large boxes or even 12 medium boxes of, pornophilia and, other related articles, calculating up to about 25 grand. Especially if you had something like a Sibian or a Sabian. Or a whatever. A tens unit, something like that. That shit costs like $600-700, especially if you had like decent shit.
So you hear it here, folks. Buck uses a tens unit on his nuts.
No,
he's not denying it.
I will deny that I have tried it. That I've tried anything like that. But what I will not deny is that I am going to attempt to get a prescription for a tens unit through Medicaid.
Nice. The parents called police on August 23rd, 2017 over an incident and asked their son to leave for at least 3 days. The son repeatedly contacted his parents and tried to retrieve his property from their home. The parents said they had told their son that when he moved, in that he could not bring pornography into their home or it would be destroyed. They also contended that he...
I got my answer now. Through reading between the lines of the article. They needed 3 days. They needed him to leave the house for 3 days. That says to me that those were medium-sized boxes. Because in order to really explore the cornucopia of infidelities that are contained within 12 boxes of porn, you would need about 3 days in order to get through.
I mean, realistically,
12 medium-sized boxes would be about 3 days.
Realistically, you're only going through 4 boxes a day. So yeah, that sounds about right.
Right. I mean, like, if they're medium boxes. Now, if they were large boxes, one would only be able to ascertain that, 3 days would not be enough. But medium boxes, like I said, through deductive reasoning, we now have all the pieces to this puzzle. All the dots are connected. Just wanted to put that out there.
Well, now that it's out there. They also contended that he abandoned the property and said he could have mitigated his losses by removing it himself. The judge said the parents would not allow him back, and they said they would ship the property to him. The parents also kept some materials, described as the, quote, worst of the worst, in a safe deposit box, concerned it would be illegal. Ottawa County Sheriff's Department retrieved the materials and found no evidence of child pornography, and no charges resulted. And unfortunately, that is the end of the story. It is not. Yeah, we don't have a final resolution yet. This is one of those ones I'm going to bookmark, and I'm going to see if I can get like the results and come back to this one later, because I want to know how much.
See if you can get a climax to a porn story.
You know what? You get a rim shot on that one.
Thank you. Thank you. I gotta tell you, I appreciate your indiscriminate critiques of my humor. Through rim shots and other button pushes.
There's only 2 buttons. There's the rim shot, and then there's the womp 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 from The Price is Right. It's very, very. I have 4 buttons. I have the Florida Man.
Man, deploy the fucking screen door on the Buck sub. Man, I thought there were buttons, plural.
Well, there is. There's 4. Well, actually, there's.
No. I thought there were buttons for me.
Oh no. I have the loser button, and I have the rim shot button. I also have the Florida Man.
You mean the learner button? The learner button, because you only win or you learn something, right?
That's what I tell my kids. But I got the Florida Man button, and I got the knife button.
Another dream crushed.
I'm I'm gonna.
You've crushed like 4 of my dreams today, man.
Is there anything else David Copperfield did you want me to explain?
Oh, man. By episode 30, I'm just going to be a soulless void.
We're on episode 29.
No. That's why I say by episode 30, man. If I ask you to, like, what about catching a bullet in your mouth? Don't.
I can.
Don't.
Would you like?
No.
To...
No. That's just an example of how you can, again, just, like, go, like, completely fucking scat play. Like, seriously, you're, like, doing all sorts of emotional bad touching on me.
Well, let me just put it to you this way. Let me just put it to you this way.
Man.
Let me put it to you this way. There are 3 kinds of magicians. There's the street.
I'm taking off my head.
There's 3. There's the street magician. There's the stage magician, and then there's the TV magician. Street magicians I have quite a bit of respect for, with the exception of David Blaine, who can lick my asshole. Because David Blaine purports to be a street magician, when in reality, David Blaine is a TV magician. Because David Blaine's tricks can only be accomplished on television. And the biggest person to invent that type of magic was David Copperfield. Because all of David Copperfield's tricks, for the most part, can only be accomplished with a television. That way, they can edit out certain things, they can use particular camera angles to restrict your view, and everybody you see on TV is in on the trick. Now, as for catching a bullet with your teeth, okay, here we go. So
No, Raz, come on, man, leave me with a little shred of my childhood.
So how about this?
Fuck it, just burst
So
a balloon.
how about this?
Go ahead.
I've already done one, but how about this? For every episode going forward, I ruin something of your childhood.
You know what? I will sacrifice what little of my dignity I still preserve for the entertainment value of our Grateful 8.
Yeah, that's about what we got, about 8.
Yeah. See, you know, before I titled you my loyal host of listeners as the Noble 9, but then I went back through and I realized I was like, wait a second, I think one of those tally marks is actually me. So I'm not going to include, like, no. You know, we're going to have to take the mark down from 9 to 8. You know, just full discretion. I can come up with a different moniker and be done with it. So you guys are the Grateful 8. Yes, I listen to my own podcast. If you were running for an election, you'd vote for yourself too.
Well, speaking of the Grateful 8, we do have one of those, Art, who sent a comment to the podcast. Bro, I listened to the podcast, Handicap versus Handicapable, and I honestly started crying. Thank you. Without knowing someone with your outlook, I don't know where I would be. He must be talking to you because he's not talking to me. Because I remember that episode. That was one of our first episodes. I think that might have been episode 1. And I was not friendly during that episode.
No. I don't think... You know what, though? Honestly, I think I still suffered from a little bit of stage fright.
Yeah, I'll be honest. The first handful of episodes were pretty cringy. I was trying to get you to talk. We didn't really have a direction for the show yet. We just knew we wanted to have a show. And we've gotten to the point now where I think we have a good format. People are starting to take notice. So we're getting some listeners, and we're very happy about that. And the only thing we do ask is if you enjoy the show, you don't have to send us money. You don't have to subscribe to us on Patreon. You just have to tell a friend. That's all we really want, is we just kind of want to get this out there. So if you tell one friend, and tell you what, pick a different theme every week. So this week, tell a friend that has a cat. Just tell a friend that happen to have a cat in their house that they need to listen to the Social Liability Podcast. And with names such as, episode 29, Mom, don't throw away my porno mags. How could you go wrong? Really?
Yeah, I mean, really can't.
Because the Social Liability Podcast, if nothing else, is cheap. Because we don't ask you to pay anything
But attention.
You need to work on your timing. That being said, folks, thank you for listening to another week of our illustrious programming. And we will see you, or rather, you'll hear us next week on the Social Liability Podcast.
Podcast.